Warning, this podcast contains graphic language. What's going on out there in the manosphere? What's going on in sales? What's going on in MGTOW? Well, I'm right here in the Pacific Northwest, just podcasting it up all across the world, you name it, from the UK, Australia, and stuff like that. If you are a male feminist, get the fuck out of here. And tonight's podcast, I'm going to talk about a little bit of thing here, a little bit of thing there, and you can take it as a grain of salt. But if this is your first time in the podcast, I'll start with an intro and waiting for the gentlemen to get out here and jump on board. So no further ado, let's do this intro real quick. And I have a very special guest tonight. Just bear with me. It's been a long fucking day. So no further ado, let's start with the intro.
It's getting serious on this track, fam.
All right. So just bear with me for 1 minute here, or 1 second, briefly moment here. Just bear with me because I'm trying to do something here. Oh my goodness, shit! It's so much shit going on that it's so hard to talk about stuff that's been going on for a really long time. But I'm gonna try to bring my own perspective, of course, with technology, and all that good stuff. So if you bear with me, I got to do something here real quick so I can connect my other speaker, because I'm dealing with ghetto ass equipment. I'm not a fancy YouTuber, nothing like that. I deal with what I have, right? But what I have, it is what it is, okay? So, tonight's subject that I want to discuss about, listen to the man. I can talk about bitches, hypergamy, marriage. I know all the data, all the information. I know everything, okay? All right. This channel is a MGTOW channel, meaning men going their own way. We're not monolithic. It's more like a philosophy. So what we do, we try and comprehend and trying to make sense of different topic and subject as a man going your own way to the universe. Because eventually we all going to die. But since we're here on this planet, let's make sense of the insanity, right? So I know about geoengineering for quite some time, Quite some time. This technology is not new. It's not new. I remember back in the early 2000s and stuff like that, watching History Channel, and they put it out there. They had different names and stuff like that. They always change the names. But if you look up at the sky, it's there. It's there. But what I noticed for the last 10 years, it's not only there, is how they can manipulate the weather very drastically. All right. Yes, I can listen. I live close to a military base. Excuse me, base. And I know when they throw the clouds out there and stuff like that, but this is deeper than people realize. All right. So what I'm gonna do tonight, I'm gonna ask. I got a special guest tonight because in the old philosophy, like maybe 6 years ago, they said the future is between man and machine. So I'm applying this to the subject. So I'm gonna put the man and machine respective with ChatGPT, and I'm gonna ask a series of questions regarding to geoengineering. So if you bear with me, I'm just getting a little bit my engine started. I'm just like you, gentlemen. I'm on the grind out there, for heaven's sake. Like Pac used to say, I'm trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. All right? I ain't no fancy YouTuber shit. I'm just here trying to spray some knowledge and stuff like that I've been known for quite some time. Because obviously, what is taking place, unless you're blind, unless you're ignorant, unless you're a crazy leftist. But I digress. So let's go out here and let's have a chat with ChatGPT. So let's go this motherfucker here. Just bear with me. Can you give me a modern version of geoengineering?
Sure. Here's a brief overview of some modern approaches to geoengineering. Stratospheric aerosol injection. This technique involves injecting reflective particles into the stratosphere to reflect sunlight back into space and cool the Earth. Marine cloud brightening. This approach involves using ships or planes to disperse sea salt into marine clouds, increasing their reflectivity and reducing the amount of sunlight they absorb. Afforestation and reforestation. Planting trees and increasing forest cover can help reduce the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere by absorbing CO2 through photosynthesis.
So, I have another question, if you don't mind. Well, of course, you're not gonna mind it. You're a fucking AI. I'm the one who's messed up out here. But anyway, a brief history of geoengineering. When did this start?
Geoengineering is a relatively new field that emerged in the mid-20th century as scientists began to explore the possibility of deliberately manipulating the Earth's atmosphere and environment on a large scale to counteract the effects of climate change. The term geoengineering itself was coined in the 1970s, and research into various geoengineering approaches has increased significantly in recent years as concerns about climate change have grown.
So where the origin, when this started, the geoengineering, what year took place from the beginning? Because I know it. I just want to know if you know it.
The earliest known proposals for large-scale, deliberate modification of the Earth's climate date back to the late 19th century. In 1899, a French scientist named Louis-Victor de Broglie suggested the use of mirrors to reflect sunlight and warm the Earth. In the 1930s and 1940s, scientists in the Soviet Union experimented with weather modification, including cloud seeding to induce rain and snow. However, it was in the 1960s and 1970s that the modern field of geoengineering began to take shape.
All right. So another question I have to ask you. The Hoshin the Hoshin Trail. That was one project of engineering.
The Hoxnean Interglacial, also known as the Hoxnean, was a warm period that occurred about 400,000 years ago during the Pleistocene.
My apologies. Forgive me, all right? The Hoshin Trail in Vietnam, was that geoengineering?
Trail, or the Truong Son Road, was a network of supply routes used by the North Vietnamese Army and Viet Cong during the Vietnam War. It was not a geoengineering project, but rather a military supply route used to transport supplies and weapons from North Vietnam to South Vietnam and Laos. The trail was a complex network.
But my question is, did geoengineering took place during the war in Vietnam on Ho Chi Minh trails?
I apologize for the confusion earlier. To clarify, there may have been some limited geoengineering efforts that took place during the Vietnam War, such as cloud seeding to try to modify the weather and create favorable conditions for military operations. However, the Ho Chi Minh Trail itself was not a geoengineering project and was used primarily for military supply and logistics purposes.
Yes, I got that part. We got that part. We understand that I was on the ground, but we were talking about the geoengineering, what took place where they flooded the Ho Chi Minh Trail. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, I understand now. During the Vietnam War, U.S. forces conducted Operation Popeye, a military project aimed at extending the East Asian monsoon season by cloud seeding over the Ho Chi Minh Trail in Laos. The goal of the project was to increase rain and flooding in the area in order to make it more difficult for the North Vietnamese to use the trail to transport supplies. Cloud seeding involves spraying particles into the air to initiate or accelerate the formation of rain clouds.
Correct. You are correct. Operation Popeye, yes. Another question that I need to ask regarding to this modern geoengineering. So the terminology of the modern version of the terminology of geoengineering, what year did it develop?
The term geoengineering first became widely known in the late 20th century as a response to concerns about climate change and the potential need to artificially modify the Earth's climate system to counteract its effects. While the concept of intentionally manipulating the environment on a large scale has been around for centuries, it was only...
Okay, so let's do this again. The modern...
Sure, please go ahead and ask your question.
All right. A modern version of geoengineering. When did this...
Sure. Here's a modern definition of geoengineering. Geoengineering is the deliberate, large-scale intervention in the Earth's natural systems to counteract the impacts of climate change. It typically involves techniques such as injecting reflective particles into the stratosphere to reduce the amount of...
Okay, we got it. Okay, so obviously there's still some development on your program, so I get it.
Yes, you're correct. My programming is constantly being developed and updated to improve my knowledge, understanding, and ability to provide information and assist with various tasks. As technology continues to advance, so too will my capabilities.
So the subject in hand that I want to discuss about, geoengineering at 1970. What's the history about it?
Sure. I can provide some information about the history of geoengineering in the 1970s. During this time, interest in geoengineering began to grow in response to concerns about climate change and the potential need to artificially modify the Earth's climate to counteract its effects. One of the earliest proposed geoengineering techniques was stratospheric aerosol injection, SAI, which involves injecting reflective particles into the stratosphere to reflect sunlight back into space and cool the Earth. This idea was first proposed in the 1970s and has since been the subject of much research and debate.
Correct. So, I have another question I'm going to ask you. What is HARPA?
HARPA stands for the High Performance Artificial Intelligence and Data Program, a U.S. government-funded project that aims to develop new technologies for detecting and responding to biological threats. The program is part of the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, and focuses on developing artificial intelligence and other technologies to improve the capabilities of the U.S. military and other government agencies in detecting and responding to potential biological threats.
So what year DARPA was developed?
DARPA, Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, was established in 1958 by the U.S. Department of Defense. It was originally created to respond to the Soviet Union's launch of Sputnik, the first artificial satellite, and to ensure that the U.S. would not fall behind in the technology race. Since then, DARPA has played a significant role in the development of many groundbreaking technologies, including the internet, GPS, and autonomous vehicles.
That is correct. So my understanding is that geoengineering has been going on for quite some time. Can you provide how satellites can manage or maneuver a hurricane?
In theory, satellites can be used to monitor and potentially influence the behavior of hurricanes through a process called hurricane modification.
Boom.
This could be achieved through various methods, such as using satellites to gather information about the hurricane's strength and path, and then using this information to make decisions about how to respond to the storm. However, it's important to note that hurricane modification is a highly controversial and unproven concept. There is currently no consensus among scientists as to whether it is possible to successfully modify a hurricane, and there are concerns about the potential unintended consequences of trying to do so.
But can they guide them to wherever the hurricane is about to land? Through
Yes, satellites can be used to monitor and forecast the path of a hurricane, including where it is expected to land. This information can then be used to inform decisions about evacuation and other preparations. However, it is not currently possible to guide a hurricane to a specific location using satellites or any other technology. Attempts to modify a hurricane's path or strength through deliberate human intervention, known as hurricane modification or weather modification, are highly controversial and have had mixed results.
So they have mixed results, but in theory, it can be done, or in white papers.
There is ongoing research and debate about the feasibility and practicality of hurricane modification. Some scientific studies and white papers have suggested that it may be possible to weaken or redirect the hurricane by seeding the clouds with particles or introducing energy into the storm. However, these methods are still theoretical and have not been successfully demonstrated in practice. There are also concerns about the potential unintended consequences of attempting to modify a hurricane, such as its unexpected strengthening or deviation from expected path.
All right. Can you give shout out to the crowd out here on YouTube? Because we having this conversation in YouTube at the public square.
Sure thing. I'd like to shout out to all the viewers on YouTube who are joining this conversation. It's great to see so many people getting involved and sharing their thoughts and questions. Keep those comments and questions coming.
And give a big shout out to MGTOW.
Here's a big shout out to MGTOW, Men Going Their Own Way, and the entire community that supports and advocates for men's rights and issues. MGTOW is all about encouraging men to live independent and fulfilling lives without the confines of traditional gender roles and societal expectations. Keep up the great work, MGTOW.
That's right. So I want to pause it real quick, and I'll be right.
Take your time. Go ahead and pause whenever you need to.
Actually, I wasn't talking. Actually, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to the YouTube audience.
Oh, my mistake. Please go ahead and address the YouTube audience then.
Well, actually, I gotta take a long ass fucking piss. What can you do to keep the crowd going? What ChatGPT can talk about while I take a piss for like 2 minutes? Are you able to do that?
Of course. I can try to keep the conversation going while you take a break. Here are a few ideas for topics we could discuss. Current events and news stories, pop culture and entertainment, politics and social issues, personal anecdotes and experiences, fun facts and trivia, science and technology, health and wellness. Feel free to join back in whenever you're ready. Enjoy your break.
My apologies, gentlemen. My apologies. I had to take a fucking piss. That's all it is. It is what it is out here on the podcast.
No worries at all. We all know how it is, and it's completely understandable. Thanks for letting us know, and we're glad you're back.
So how do you know how to take a piss if you're AI?
As an AI language model, I do not physically need to use the bathroom or take a test in the same way that humans do. However, I can process and output information in response to questions or prompts, and I have been trained on a vast amount of data to provide accurate and relevant responses. This allows me to respond to a wide range of questions and topics, much like a human who has studied and learned about those topics.
That is cool. That is cool. You answer very witty with it.
Thanks. I'm glad you found my response adequate. Let me know if you have any other questions or if there's anything else I can help with.
So now, the other segment of the podcast, I'm right here in 21 minutes. I want to talk about Kamala Harrison running for president and all that good shit.
Sure. We can discuss Harrison's presidential candidacy and other political topics. Before we start, did you have any specific aspects of Harrison's campaign or political platform you wanted to focus on?
No, because what we're gonna discuss in tonight podcast is it don't have anything to do with it does have to do a little bit with politics, but it's more like a philosophy point of view of the United States of America, between men and women and nuclear family or not or whatever. You know, it don't. Yes, evolve politics, but it don't have to get into the so much detail because it's a philosophy.
I see. So we'll be discussing the relationship between men and women in the United States from a more philosophical and social perspective, rather than getting into the nitty-gritty of politics. Got it. Let's dive into that topic. What aspect of this relationship would you like to explore first?
Well, there's no relationship, you know. There's no relationship. It is what it called is the patriarchy.
That's an interesting starting point. Let's unpack that a bit more. So when you say the patriarchy, are you referring to the societal structure and cultural norms that traditionally favor men and place them in positions of power or authority, often to the exclusion or disadvantage of women?
No.
Okay. If the patriarchy doesn't refer to the social structure or cultural norms that prioritize men's power and authority over women, then how are you defining it in this context?
Well, we're about to get into this right now. So, if you bear with me, ChatGPT, what's going on, MGTOW? What's going on, fellas? Hey, man, my eyes are like...
Sure, I'm listening. What's going on, fellas?
All right, you listening. But, hey, chat, you shut the fuck up for a minute. I'm out here reading comments, for heaven's sake. Shit!
Apologies. I'll be quiet while you read the comments.
All right. What's going on, Sucks and Sex
It
Fool?
seems you got cut off in the middle of your sentence. Can you please continue your thought?
Okay, hold on. Let me pause this motherfucker here.
Go ahead, Pop.
What's going on? She know it won't come on me. What's going on, successful? Who's in the hills? I see 73. Listen, man, since I got these this virus in my eyes, it's like I can barely read comments and shit. But if I hear the thumbs up, the first one was like 73. Yeah, my bad, man. I need to connect this channel to my laptop so I can read some comments and shit. But anyways, so before I get to this Kamala shit, let's not be naive. Let's not be naive, gentlemen. The reason I'm talking to ChatGPT because I want to know, does he know? I call him he. Whatever. Out here in the Pacific Northwest, you don't know what to call who. It, she, he, they and them and shit. It's crazy. These leftists are out of control. They trying to confuse me, but they can confuse me, motherfuckers. But anyways, let's not be naive because the subject and the title is geoengineering. All right? And I know the history about this stuff. It took place back in World War II. Modern history, right? ChatGPT can give you whatever the fuck with mirrors and shit. It's nonsense and horseshit. When ChatGPT say that's a controversial subject. No, it's not controversial. They can manipulate the weather. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. You didn't know this? Yes, they can. Yes, they can. A hurricane. They can take it from one place to another place and land it there. Now, hurricanes been going on for quite some time, all right? And if you don't know the story about the hurricanes, it's because the hot water from Africa and the cold water from the Atlantic, they meet together, and once in a while they have these cold hurricanes, and it's formed naturally. Now, if you know geoengineering, nowadays you can put chemicals, not only that, and you can manipulate it and land it wherever the hurricane's going to go or want it to go. Because organically, it will break itself. For most part, organically, through the history of hurricanes, it will break itself from Category 5 to like 4, 3, 2. By the time they get in land, maybe 1, 2, 3 category. But there's no way it can go Category 5 when they land on land. It's impossible. It's being manipulated. In my point of view. Now, to find these very interesting, since I know the history about geoengineering, just up in thought, okay? Just one man talking, okay? And doing observation and knowing geoengineering history about it for the last 15, 20 years. It's so funny how they hit these states. Florida, the Carolinas, Tennessee, this and that. It went all the way to the main, like deep in the woods out there. Right? Right now, there's people missing out there. After a week, they was picking up motherfuckers. See, sometimes you gotta connect the dots, right? When something smells like shit, it is shit. I haven't keep up with a hurricane rescue mission. And trust me, I know about hurricanes. I've been in Hugo, in Puerto Rico. I know about hurricanes. FEMA's the one go out there. Where are these motherfuckers? Now, I'm trying to connect the dots. Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, the Carolinas, and shit. And then no help. Barely, literally a little help from the government. Right? And then I thought to myself, hey, this is like red states. And it's October, late September. And I thought to myself, what the fuck is going on here? Are these people going to be able to vote when voting starts in November? I'm just trying to connect the dots, man. These sound crazy. It sounds crazy, man. It really do. But I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on here? Am I nuts? Am I crazy? Knowing the history of geoengineering, been through hurricanes, and seeing this hurricane that took so much this territory in those parts. I don't think I'm crazy. I really don't. I'm a very rational man. Try to be. I don't believe the earth is flat. I don't believe none of that shit. But I know what I know is what I know. I don't know these folk. They voted early, and those ballots already flooded down and shit. It's not a conspiracy theory, but it's not conspiracy if you think about it, right? You have to come out with your own thinking, right? The best thing I do is I just like, sometimes I just like don't listen to shit. And I just think to myself and shit. And trying to make sense of the nonsense. And talk about nonsense and bullshit. I'm gonna change the subject, excuse me. Well, I'm not a political person. Man. Whatever. I'm not. I don't belong with any party association. I can give it shit. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I've been like this for years. I know the game was rigged at the age of 18. Trust me. It goes 4 years Republican, 8 years, whatever. Whatever it is, it goes. But they switch sides. That's, I'm a libertarian. That's who I am. If you want to call me something, call me a libertarian. I want the government out of my fucking life. Less taxes. Taxation is theft. I want free speech. I want people to do their own thing. I don't give a fuck if you're transgender, homosexual, bisexual, straight, nuclear family, whatever the fuck you are. Cool. I'm cool with that. I don't want the government on my fucking back and trying to fuck me. That's all. The basic foundations. But since we are here in the circus, and it's obviously election season, so let's get into the circus, because it is a fucking circus. I'm not saying that Trump is the best individual out there. I can care less. I can care less. I don't hate the guy, but I don't love the guy. Let's put it this way. But with this Kamala situation and these Democrats, and I'm thinking to myself, right? What about these Kamala, whatever? She wins by default, whatever. So, does that mean that we're gonna have the first male housewife president? I don't know. I'm confused. I'm confused. That'd be kind of like sick if you think about it. I forgot the terminology. Just bear with me. Yeah. The first lady, I guess they're gonna call him the first gentleman, I guess. Meanwhile, his wife holds power of the most powerful nation in the world. That's what we think. Ain't that kind of creepy? The first gentleman. The first gentleman of the White House. That is very creepy to me. if that happens, it's time for me to go to leave the biggest shithole on earth, Afghanistan. Hey, guess what? I'm going to Afghanistan. Where you going to Afghanistan? What the fuck is going on in the United States? They got a president and the husband is the bitch. So guess what? Afghani out there, the Taliban. I ain't got nothing against you niggas. Take me, because the United States is fucked. So what I gotta do out here? Pick up rocks and shit like that? I'm not interested in your government. I'm not interested in shit. I just want to hear it. I just want to be here and chill out, because the United States is fucked. It's fucked. I'm serious, man. I got my passport ready. The passport is ready. Destination, Afghanistan. At least they got the strong pimping hand out there. I grew up with flip-flops, chancleta. I can walk out there in Afghanistan in flip-flops and shit. And rocks and shit. I'm cool. I can do that. Blindfolded and shit. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm just fucking with you guys, man. I will never, never, never leave my country, the United States. I will fight to the death. I was born here, and I'm going to be here. But I will fight for my freedoms. No matter what. We still got this good old paper, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. If we don't obey by the founder fathers who give us these documents, there will be chaos, and it is chaos. But at the end of the day, the republic will remain the same. Yes, we're gonna go some troubles and tribulations, but the republic will remain, no matter what. You're gonna have to fight for it like hell. And you better fight for it like hell, because those gonna be the future of the republic. Your children, your grandchildren, your nephew, your cousin, your niece, so on, so forth. The only way I see Kamala winning due to the fact of infiltration by the communists and the Marxists inside the government. Otherwise, the public, they don't want that. Women are the biggest competitor of women. Do you think that women want to see another woman to be their representative as a president of the United States? I don't think so. And women are the major block of voters, especially white women. So my hope is that people come with their own understanding what God, nature has provided us, and people can vote however they want to vote. But my intuition is saying that not yet, because they tried this before with Hillary Clinton to have a woman president. Now this is their second try. To have a woman president. My strong belief it's not going to happen, but then you never know, because there's a lot of tricksters and shit and manipulation and disformation and and all kinds of shit that people get emotional about, this two-party system and stuff like that, so who knows. But I can see the trickery. Oh, do I see the trickery? Like I mentioned before, the hurricane. There's a lot of trickery going on. Oh, FYI. Just to close the live stream, to be honest, because I'm going to be honest. You guys, you fellas remember Maui when he burnt down? And the citizens, the native of Maui, they only got, what, $750 to survive. So guess what? They're doing the same shit out here in the United States, where the citizens are only getting $750 on a card. They lost their home, they lost everything. Meanwhile, these fucking cocksuckers are sending billions of dollars in Ukraine, billions of dollars in Israel, billions of dollars for illegal immigrant, and guess what? You get fucked because you're a citizen. Because that taxation is theft and it's stealing from you and I. FEMA don't have money to give out for the hurricane survivors. Why? They spend it on the border to bring in all these illegal immigrants from, I don't know what the fuck, they come from everywhere. From everywhere. If you think it's only South America, you better rethink again. They come from Africa, China, this, that, that. If that is not enough to fucking piss you off, I don't know what can do. I read this shit today. Today. $700 and $750. Literally, they're saying, go fuck yourself. These people are evil, man. They are corrupt and they're fucking evil. They're evil, man. Well, I always said it. United States is Babylon. It's Babylon. Just I'm gonna cut the podcast here. But to put this in perspective, they got away with the pandemic. Oh yeah, and I witnessed it. Not did they only get away with a pandemic, they inject folk with some shit up there. They shut down the economy. They tell folk, you can go here, you can go there, you cannot move there. Go fuck off. I did what the fuck I want to do. But people bought into the shit. They got away with a lot of shit. Oh yeah. Because people forget. They shut down everything. I never forget. I saw the writing on the wall. I saw the writing in the wall. I saw it. I saw it right away. It took me 3 months to understand the bullshit. But once I understood the bullshit, I was like, oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay. All right. Who's going to fall for this shit? Who's going to fall for it? And a lot of people did. On a global scale, billions. Think about that shit. Billions. Not millions. Billions of people fall for it. I didn't. You know, I can never forget this shit. I can never let this shit go. The pandemic, I will not let it go. It was horseshit and bullshit from day one. but it took me 3 months to cut up with it. Now, let's put this in perspective. If they manipulated a virus and bring propaganda and fear porn and stuff like that, what makes you think they cannot manipulate the weather and have patterns with hurricanes and stuff like that? Due to the fact that we live in a very high in technology world. For heaven's sake, we got nuclear bombs, nuclear subways, nuclear this, nuclear that. What makes you think they can do so? Geoengineering. This is old shit. This is old technology. I go as far that they can create earthquake. But that's another subject. Well, gentlemen, it was a pleasure hanging out with you tonight. Like I always say, peace. State MGTOW. I will catch you next podcast, live stream or video. Let the universe be with you.